Hello everyone, in today's episode of the 1 Year Life Challenge, we're going to talk about making peace with the past and using 6 techniques to make peace with your history. Hello everyone, the past is over, but we don't always make peace with it and we allow it to come into our lives and ruin things that are right here. Romance, love is ruined by old thoughts of what boyfriends or girlfriends of past did to you. Fear of failure, things that you've stuffed up in the past, and work stops you from taking that big promotion. We need to understand how to put the past in the past and use 6 techniques that have been really valuable to myself and to others on how to do that. So as always, I'm going to begin with a quote, and that quote is, "Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself." Harvey Feinstein. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Remember, you have to participate in victimhood. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. I'm a big believer in this. I believe that no one can diminish you. You are the universal source energy of light consciousness. You can't be diminished. Yes, you can be called names, you can be, pushed around, but only you can choose to allow that to diminish you. You look at people like Oprah Winfrey who, had the first part of their life, they were raped and beaten and distressed. They decided they would not allow that to define them, and look at where they are now. But people with much better upbringings haven't achieved nearly as much. So I know for me that the backstories that I live with, and I used to rerun and think, what if I did this differently, or what if I did that, or I reckon this person's just like that person. It never served me. And when they did come true, it was more like potluck because I was doing it all the time, that 1 in 100 had to be right. Understanding that my past, it's already in me. I already know. My unconscious has learnt lessons about the past. I don't need to keep consciously bringing them up. Your conscious brain is for the things that are happening right now. Allow your DNA, your cells, and your subconscious to deal with the things that you needed to learn from your past. So what are these 6 ways? Sometimes it's easier said than done. What are these 6 ways to let go of the past? 1, understand this great mathematical equation. The past does not equal the future. It does not equal the future. The past is simply history. And whether you've read the history of World War II doesn't mean that it will affect the next war that happens. These things in the past do not equal the future. The future can be written by your conscious decisions now and in the moment. Don't allow that, what you've done in the past, to even for a second believe that how that could be your future. Number 2. So trend forecasting says, current events predict future trends. This is, the geniuses who, work out what's happening with the stock market and working out with global conflict. They have a very simple statement. Current events predict future trends. That's it. So how you behave in the moment, this is what the statisticians are telling us, how you are in the moment is the best indicator of how you'll behave in the future. If you're a pork chop in the past, that's actually not relevant. It's how you're behaving in the moment. This is really big for trend analysis, because what we used to do is go, well, England's had a great history of the Industrial Revolution and trade, so from that perspective, they're going to come back and they're going to be a world player in commerce. Well, hold on. What were they like when you made that statement? Well, they probably weren't the leader in world commerce. So if they're not the leader of world commerce right now and they're not doing anything about it, the future will say that they're not going to be the leader in world commerce. You can't use a history to create future trends, and statisticians have found that out. 3, does the wake of the boat drive the ship? So the wake is, those cool little patterns that come out from the back of a boat, the rippling effect. It sometimes looks, if you haven't been on a boat before, it looks like that's driving the ship because you see it coming out, sort of like an afterburner. But it's not an afterburner. It's simply the propeller leaving little dents in the water that create the ripple effect. So it's not driving the ship. The propeller, which is currently attached to the ship, which is present, is creating the momentum. But people confuse the ripples for what's pulling the boat forward. You are driven by your propeller, your internal engine, not by the ripples of the past. Number 4, every moment is a chance to redefine yourself. I love this so much. I don't care how much you've stuffed up. I don't care what a complete moron you were yesterday. You've got another chance called now to fix it all. Isn't that beautiful? It's much easier to say forgive yourself, because if you forgive yourself for what's happened in the past, you can immediately, do whatever you want. You could, if you really want, and that in your heart, don't you? You could get on a plane tomorrow and, become a clown, learn how to be a clown. But you don't do it because of the stories you tell yourself. But But if you stuff that up, you can just try something else the next moment. If being a clown doesn't work out for you, the beautiful things, a new now will come in where you can make that change. 5, don't answer the memory of a memory. Think of, I'm not going to ask you to think actually, but I understand this is important. The way your brain works is it uses relative neurons to create memory. So, for example, when I remember, for example, my first trip to the zoo, I'm not remembering my first trip to the zoo because your brain is fluid and changing, it's electrical activity. What I'm remembering is my last memory of remembering the zoo. Can you get that? Like how crazy that is? Because you haven't been to the zoo. You haven't been to the zoo for 20 years, so you're not remembering going to the zoo. Because I can't remember what I did, yesterday a lot of the time. What you're remembering is the last time you remembered it. And the more you remember things, the stronger the memory gets. But you're still only remembering the last time. And if you've ever played Chinese Whispers, how does that go? Remembering the memory. By the time the Chinese Whispers gets the last person, it doesn't sound like the original event. So your memories quite often can be wrong. Especially those memories which are telling you that you're a failure, it probably wasn't that bad, but Chinese Whisperers, or the memory of a memory, is creating it. 6, cognitive dissonance. Your mind has 0 credibility. You know that little voice in your mind? Shut it off. It has 0 credibility, officially 0 credibility. Cognitive dissonance is simple. It's the backwards rationalization of events to fit within our belief system so we can live with ourselves. So, for example, if you were to, for example, cheat on someone, but your belief system is that you would never ever cheat on a partner, ever, because it's the worst thing you can do. If you do cheat, what psychologists find is you will then tell yourself that in this situation it was okay to cheat because they had been a really, really bad boyfriend. What you've just done is cognitive dissonance. You can't live with the fact that you're not the person you thought you are, so you just backwards rationalize it. So it has no credibility. What your mind tells you has no credibility. And 7, the teacher leaves when the student is ready. Your past will not be a problem when you learn from it. There are, especially the pain in your past. I understand the pain was real, but the suffering doesn't have to exist. The suffering is the non-acceptance of the pain and what it taught you. When you decide to not accept certain types of men into your life, or with men not accept certain types of women, or certain types of work conditions, or certain types of environments, once you say, no, my direct experience is that's not for me, no, I don't want it, they live your life. It's that simple. This is something to think about. The past is a thought-created concept. The now is so much cooler and vivid. Even when you think of a memory, it's always kind of 2D. You don't have all the detail and you miss a lot of things out. But right now, everything's 3D, colourful and beautiful. Stick in the present. It's something to think about. I can't wait to see you till tomorrow. But until then, goodbye.